All right, welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. We want to take it to the next level, those deeper questions that you might have, not just about what type of printer to use or what kind of stamp to use, but what kind of mindset does it take to succeed? How do you overcome fear in the face of adversity and change? Because there's a lot of that happening right now. Anytime you invest in a conference like this, or a class, a course, when you buy a book, what you're really buying is perspective. And right now you've got, I don't even want to count the years of how much perspective this panel can offer you right now. This is the time to ask those really difficult questions.
So the question is, what advice do you have for someone with a new idea for a product or service in our industry?
Oh, I love this. Okay, you got a panel full of innovators up here, guys. They have literally taken their knowledge, their experience, and turned it into something. So, Nick, you're a recent innovator in this, too. Starting out as a loan signing agent, evolving that into the Notary e-journal. You want to take a stab at that question?
Great question. Being a loan signing agent and being very busy at multiple times and the ebb and flow of this career, I started to realize pretty quickly how painful the journaling process was in general, just having the journal. And what I quickly noticed is the people around me, the notaries around me, were either doing it incorrectly, and so they were no longer compliant with their state law by doing things like little hash marks and lines and arrows, and the journal looked like a whiteboard. Or if you did it correctly, like I would do, you'd have to prep your journal the night before, and it would just be a pain in the butt because you didn't want to spend that much time in front of people having to journal correctly. And I quickly realized how much that sucked, I guess, if I have to be as frank as possible. So it got the wheels turning, and I said, well, let's see if we can put something together and fix the problem. And so really what it was finding out what the problem was through trial and error, through my own experience. And I think that's what has made our platform and our product successful, is because it started off with a real problem I had, and then I realized quickly that we were getting a lot of users from all these other states. It wasn't just California, and so we were solving a real problem, which is just a more efficient journaling solution that provides a better ecosystem for you to capture that data and then securely store it. And I think that's probably, I'd have to say, the starting point is make sure the problem that you're trying to address is one that's real and that you have probably experienced before, and it's a real pain point. Because I do talk to a lot of people who say, I've got this great idea, and the idea might not really be addressing an actual problem. It might sound like it is. Maybe they created that problem so that they could solve the problem with their great idea. And that's, I think, the genesis of something that would be successful in the long run is find out what makes your job, your life a little bit more difficult, and then find a way to fix it or better it in any capacity. And then if you're able to go from there and create a platform or put it in front of people where they can experience that same type of time-saving trick or technique that you used, and then you start to see, gosh, you know what, this is a real problem and we're helping address it. That's, I think, where it starts. But I can't give you like a specific, well, go to this website and it tells you how to buildanidea.com, and then that's what you do to build your product, because it really comes from just dealing with these problems yourself and finding a way to fix it. And if you can do that, you can really touch a lot of people in a positive way, and that is what really makes it feel good. Thank you.
Awesome, Nick. That's great advice. Does anybody else in this room have an idea, or have you started something? You've got an idea for that journal or that new stamp or that new car magnet? We're in a room full of ideas, and I love the testing idea. And I want to pass it over to Sue real quick, too, because, Sue, you had a very similar story as far as innovation goes.
I'm getting my exercise.
Okay, I'm going to stand up because I feel really small. But, okay, who likes to do accounting? Raise your hands. Ooh, there's some. Thank you. I
way more
love
than I
you
thought.
guys. We love you. Okay, how many of you buy things and have receipts? How many of you do anything with them other than throw them in a shoebox? Right? Okay, there's only a few. I Notary Assist came about because I couldn't get my taxes done on time. I had a shoebox full of receipts of all the things that I bought that were tax deductible, but they just sat in a box over there. And my wonderful husband would knock on the door. When are you going to do your taxes? Later. I've got 10 appointments. I can't worry about it right now. I've got to print documents. Don't bother me. I had to tackle that box. Well, my husband solved it for me. He didn't want to wait anymore. He goes, put it in here every day. You'll be fine. Okay, so I did. And this worked so well, I decided I was going to get a table at the NNA conference in 2007, and we were going to sell it to other notaries. Yay! We were terrified, but it worked. And now we work with notaries across the country, trying to help you get rid of your shoebox. Because the shoebox doesn't help you, but the software will. So being able to do it, we were terrified. We didn't know what we were doing. We'd never been business owners before, but we liked what we did. My husband was a software guy, and I was a notary, and I loved it. But I did not like the bookkeeping of it. So I had to figure out something that would make the bookkeeping easier and fun and not take up all your time. Because you would much rather be with your friends or your family or doing what you really love. So we try to make it quick, simple, easy. Solve the problem. So if you have something like that, solve the problem. Whatever you can do, I encourage you to try. You never know what you might find. I didn't know what I had in 2007, but I'm still here. Yay! Hopefully you guys still like me. And it's my pleasure to work with you every day. So just try to do it. Just do it. You never know. Hope that answers.
I love that. I think there's a belief that we have to have it all figured out before we start, and none of us did that. Most of us, as entrepreneurs, are figuring it out as we go. There's a lot that you can do outside the notary umbrella as well, too. I'll just share really quick. One of my favorite ones right now is Turo. Has anybody heard of Turo? It's like Airbnb for cars. I was a customer first in 2012. I was a customer because I was so frustrated with rental car companies because I was broke. All my businesses had failed, and they wanted to take out a huge deposit on my debit card. Every time I wanted to rent a car, I couldn't afford to rent cars. So I went to Turo, and it was so easy. I prepaid for everything. I bought their insurance. I used it for years. As a notary, it saved my hide so many times. My car wouldn't start. I get a flat tire. It gets in an accident. It's out of commission for a few weeks. I can jump on Turo and have a car sometimes within an hour. Totally saved my hide. Then, as an entrepreneur, I just started this too. I've been a customer since 2012, and I just started renting my cars on Turo. And that has been an awesome cash flow, somewhere between $3,000 or $4,000 a month with 3 cars on it. So if you have extra cars, or if you have a car that you don't use as often, you have total control over it. So check it out. Go to Turo.com, Turo.com. Check it out. Read the terms and conditions. It's not for everybody.
So can you share with our group the secret to escrow direct business?
Oh, great question. Sorry, is that me or?
No, that was.
Are we competing? Are we competing? Excellent question, and yes, right up my alley. And I have 3 words for that. Building authentic relationships. That's how you secure those escrow direct. Everybody I've talked to in the last 2 days, the questions I'm getting is, why aren't the signing services calling me? What's happening? You know, as in any industry, there's ups, there's downs. Mortgage industry is in a little bit of a slump right now. Let's just be honest, right? We're all worried about it. And so people are looking back to direct escrow clientele because even though the refinance boom has come to an end, we've all made a lot of money off the last 2 years, right? It will come back at some point. It's going to happen again. But we're all looking at how can we get these home builder or get these escrow direct clients, and not just because they pay well, and or better sometimes than the signing services. But it's a lasting relationship. It's something that you can work toward building. And the best thing I can advise you to do is just getting out there and building relationships with people. You hear politicians say all the time, like, oh, we got to go shake hands and kiss babies, right? If you're going to build authentic relationships, you've got to get out there and shake hands and introduce yourself. Let everybody you know that you have a mobile notary business, that you're a loan signing agent. Be loud and proud about it. The one thing I hate hearing, and I think you mentioned this yesterday in your talk, when we have this feeling as notaries like, oh, I'm just a notary. Has anybody ever thought that about themselves in this room? I'm just a notary, right? I did. I was scared to death to go in and introduce myself and my business to title offices. We're not just notaries. This is a very, very important part of the real estate industry. What we are doing matters a lot. Right now, we have, what was it, January of 2022, there was 1.9 million home building permits pulled in this country. 1.9 million. Go get that business. Go find those home builders. Go find the escrow businesses that support them. Let them know loudly and proudly that you are the CEO of your business, that you have the experience to help them and collaborate with them. You know, not necessarily don't take no for an answer, but be loud and proud about what you're doing and let them know that you want to get in there and help them support their business so they can close more loans and make more money. So, very long answer to your question, Michelle, is get out there and build relationships, shake hands, let them know what you're doing, and you will be surprised how many people jump up and say, I want to help you. I want to help you. I want to support you in your business. It's amazing to me the feedback I get from people when I just ask, hey, you give me a shot? I'd love to help support your business. Sure, you know, we just get afraid to ask. So thank you for that.
Guys, remember that we've got to wrap up here, but remember I'm going to plant a seed for you that you probably already know exactly who you need to know to make this business everything that you want. And if it's not that person, it's probably someone they know. Like 1 degree of separation, remember that. Cultivate your relationships. We work hard to bring them into our orbit. Take care of them when they're here. Stay in touch and keep yourself top of mind. Guys, will you give me a round of applause to our panelists, please? Thank you all so much for agreeing to be here and to make NBB possible.